The Proverbs of Solomon the King, Israel's sovereign and David's son, to know wisdom and understanding, and to give wise instruction. Wise instruction for all to receive, righteousness to be understood, to learn the truth and the truth believe, and to understand all that is good. Proverbs give prudence to the naive, knowledge and wisdom to the young. The wise will hear, and to wisdom they'll cleave. Wise men listen to a wise tongue. Hear the instruction of your father. Forsake not your mother's teaching. They're a wreath of grace, not a bother. My child, heed our beseeching. Child, if the wicked try enticing you, do not accept their invite. If they say, "Come and do what we do," reject them. In wisdom delight. If they say, "Come, let's hurt the innocent," swallow them alive like the grave, consume the good and benevolent, and throw them into a cave. We'll find riches and much treasure, we'll fill our homes with the spoil. Throw in your lot with us and measure all your riches without toil. My son, don't walk in the way they go. Keep your feet away from their path. Their feet run to evil. To them say no when they tell you, "Join in our bloodbath." It's folly to spread a baited net in the view of watching birds. Sinners with their own trap will be met. They attack themselves by acting absurd. So too is the end of everyone who tries to gain by evil ways. His folly brings death, his life will be done, his folly shortens his days. Wisdom, shouting aloud in the street, raises her voice in the city. In the noisy street she takes her seat and speaks sayings that are witty. How long will you fools cling to your ways, and scorners take joy in scorning? And fools hate knowledge and turn away from my merciful warning. Turn and heed my helpful correction. On you I'll pour out my spirit. I'll send my words in your direction, my wisdom, if you'll hear it. Because I called and you refused, to me you paid no attention. All of my counsel that went unused, you did not heed my correction. So I'll laugh at your calamity, and will mock when your dread arrives, when your fear comes violently, and is set plainly before all eyes. To me wisdom fools will then call, but I'll turn away my ear. To get my attention they'll try all, but now I'm no longer near. My knowledge the unwise rejected, throwing off the fear of the Lord. My counsel would not be accepted. They ignored when I implored. Sinners reap the fruit of their choices. They're filled with their own devices. Death comes from heeding foolish voices, destruction by welcomed vices. But all who listen and follow me will not fear evil's destruction. They will walk steadfast, and they will see that protection is wisdom's function. Chapter 2. My son, take my words into your heart, and cherish my every command. Inclining your ear, let wisdom impart truth for your heart to understand. If you cry out for knowledge and wisdom, and plead for understanding's pleasure, and seek them as a silver-filled kingdom, search for them as for hidden treasure, then you will possess the fear of the Lord, and find the knowledge of God. The Lord gives wisdom that cuts like a sword. From his mouth it is spread abroad. He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He shields the righteous, they will not faint. God protects their paths, for them he fights. He preserves the paths of his saints. You will understand what is good and just. You'll discern the path that is best. When sweet wisdom into your heart is thrust, and when pleasant knowledge gives you rest. Discretion will preserve you. Understanding will make straight your way, and deliver from all evil can do. Wicked men will be far away. You'll be safe from all forsakers of God, who walk in the ways of deceit. They rejoice in evil, in folly they trod. hideous sin they deem as sweet, whose ways are crooked and never straight, and all their schemes they're deceptive. Discretion leads away from the harlot's gate, the temptress who flatters to make you receptive. She forsakes the companion of her youth, her promise to God she does forget. She seduces, is deadly and uncouth, and her poisoned paths lead to the pit. None who go with her ever return, nor walk in the paths of life. So please walk in God's way, and from this learn to stay the course, avoiding evil strife. The upright dwell in the land and shall remain. The blameless will forever be there. This land the wicked will never attain. They'll be cast away, uprooted, and laid bare. Chapter 3. My son, please remember my law. Let your heart keep my words without flaw. They grant long life and length of days, and give you peace in all your ways. Do not let mercy and truth leave. Bind them around your neck, to them cleave. Write them with sweet eternal ink in your heart, and from their well drink. Favor will find you, high respect, with God and man, mercy and truth's effect. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. From self-dependence, please depart. In all your ways acknowledge God. He shall direct the paths you trod. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear God and forsake lies. It will be health to your bones and flesh, and the strength of your body it will refresh. Honor God with your whole life, every piece, and with the first fruits of all increase. Your barns will be blessed and overflow, as God's many blessings are bestowed. Son, don't despise rebukes from God, nor detest his correcting rod. Those the Lord loves he leads with light, as a father does to sons in whom he delights. Men who are wise, happy are they, and men who hear what Proverbs say. Wisdom's proceeds are much better than much fine gold or costly treasure, worth more than all the jewels you could wear. Of all things, nothing can compare. In her right hand is length of days, in her left wealth and honor stays. Her ways are pleasant and always sweet, her paths of peace welcome your feet. She is a tree of life if you take hold. Happy are those who heed what wisdom has told. The Lord by wisdom founded the earth, by knowledge the heavens he brought forth. The depths were broken by his knowledge true, and by it clouds drop down their dew. Let the following be your eyes' possession, my words of sound wisdom and discretion. They are life-giving to your heart. Grace from your neck won't depart. You'll walk safely on your every trip. Your feet will not stumble or even slip. When you lie down, you will not fear. Your sleep will be so sweet and dear. Do not fear a sudden terror, nor trouble from the fool's error. The Lord will be your confident rest, to keep you safe on every quest. Give what you have to whom it's due. Do what is right and see it through. Do not tell them, go and come back. Tomorrow I will give it. Don't slack. Don't plan wrong towards those nearby. They look to you to hear their cry. Don't feud without good reason. Did one do you harm or commit treason? Don't envy the oppressor's ways, or be impressed by false displays. The perverse are abominations. The godly love God's communications. God's curse is on the evil house. Righteous homes with blessings are doused. God scorns the scornful, and they stumble, but gives grace and favor to the humble. Honor comes to the wise man's name. A fool's reward is only shame. Chapter 4. My child, hear your father's instruction. Listen, and you will understand. Be wise and you'll be safe from destruction. Heed God's ways and demands. With my father, while just a boy, I was my mother's only son. I learned to hold fast to and take joy in his life-filled words, every one. Get wisdom and understanding. From my words, please don't depart. Cling to her. She's a guard standing to watch over your life, every part. For wisdom, seek and acquire, but be sure to understand too. Prize her, she will lift you higher. Embrace her, and she will honor you. She will place a garland of grace, a crown of beauty on your head. My sayings you should not erase, and you'll have many years ahead. I have led you in the wise way. I have led you in paths upright. As you walk, you won't be delayed. Your steps will be firm, your burden light. Embrace instruction, don't let go. Guard her well, for she is your life. To the wicked path, just say no. Avoid the crooked way full of strife. Avoid it, don't even go near. Turn away from it and pass on. They can't sleep until they instill fear. They want souls to fall before dawn. In the bread of sin they delight, and drink the wine of violence. But the godly path, like dawn's light, shines bright unto full radiance. The way of the wicked is dark, concealing much over which they trip. Listen to my words, and then embark, while heeding to my authorship. Do not let them leave your sight. Keep them in the midst of your heart. Find them, and you'll have life and might, health to your body, every part. Tend to your heart with diligence. From your heart flows all of life's springs. Avoid deceit with vigilance. Remove deceit from your dwellings. Let your eyes look only ahead, your gaze fixed on what's in front of you. Watch all the paths where your feet tread, and they'll be established, good, and true. Do not turn to the right or left when you know that your path is right. Turn from evil into God's cleft, and keep his words always in sight, your protection and your delight. Chapter 5. Dear son, give wisdom your attention. To my understanding give your ear, that you may observe sound discretion, and that your lips may keep knowledge near. A harlot's lips drip with honey sweet, and smoother than oil is her speech. In the end she's bitter with deceit, deadly and blood-sucking as the leech. Her feet always go to death and strife. Her steps always lead the way to hell. She never thinks of the path of life. She's unaware and can't even tell. My sons, please hear the words that I say, and from my sayings do not depart. Keep yourself far from her every way. Don't go near with your feet or your heart, or you'll give your honor to strangers, your years away to the evil one. Strangers will put your wealth in danger. Your earnings will be ruined and done. You'll reach your destination and groan. When your body and flesh are consumed, you'll say, I hated reproof, and moan, my heart spurned reproof, and now I'm doomed. I did not give heed to the teacher, did not listen to the instruction, so I will be a ruined creature. All now clearly see my destruction. Drink water only from your cistern, and fresh water drink from your own well. Should your springs be spilled at every turn over the streets and where others dwell? Let them be yours and not another's. They are just for you. That is God's truth. Let your fountain be blessed forever, and delight in the wife of your youth. As a graceful doe, a loving hind, always be satisfied by her breasts. Enraptured by love, great joy you'll find. Son, don't embrace an adulteress. Man's ways are always in God's viewing. He sees and observes all their moves. A foul man is trapped by his doing, held by cords of the sin that he approves. He will die by lack of instruction. By his great foolishness he will stray. He walks with a vile to destruction, while ignoring God's word all the way. Chapter 6. Son, if you've become surety for your neighbor, and have given a pledge to a stranger, if you are snared by your words, your lips labor, caught by your words and are now in danger. Do this then, son, deliver yourself, get free. You are in a man's hands, captive and pressed. Go, humble yourself and plead, please release me. To the one you're bound to, give him no rest. Give no sleep to your eyes, don't close the drape, nor let your eyelids get any slumber. Free yourself as from a hunter's trap, escape like a bird from his foes that encumber. All you sluggards, to the ant go, observe her ways and learn to be wise, who having no ruler to bestow commands or counselors to advise, in the summer is quick to prepare and gathers her food in harvest time. How long will you lie down? Full, beware. When will you at last from your bed climb? A little slumber, a little sleep, just a little folding of your hand. Poverty will from behind you creep, and will take you down from where you stand. A foolish, worthless, wicked person is one who lives with a perverse tongue. With sly winks his deceit will worsen. He points his finger, tricking old and young. Evil from his heart he devises, and delights in the spreading of strife. Soon therefore will come his demises, brokenness, with no healing or life. These are the 6 things that the Lord truly hates. In his eyes 7 abominations: haughty eyes, lies that the deceiver relates, hands that shed the blood of his creation, a heart that devises wicked plans and schemes, feet that run to evil ways rapidly, a false witness who lies by whispers or screams, and one who spreads strife among family. My son, follow all your father's commandments, and do not forsake your mother's teaching. Bind them on your heart as lasting attachments. Tie them on your neck. Embrace their preaching. When you walk, they will direct you and guide you. When you're sleeping, they will watch over you. And when you wake, they will tell you what is true, talking to you while the morning is new. The commandment is a lamp, a shining light. Instructive reproofs are the way to life, to keep you far from the evil woman's smite, and her smooth tongue that is sharp as a knife. Do not lust after her beauty in your heart, nor let her capture you with her foul glance. She reduces men to bread, tears them apart. Harlots hunt to kill through evil romance. Can a man cover his lap with fire and expect his clothes not to be inflamed? Can a man walk on hot coals and desire that his feet won't be permanently maimed? So is the one who sleeps with his neighbor's wife. He will surely be punished for his deeds. Thieves aren't despised who steal to save their own life, to satisfy their family's own needs. When they are caught, they must repay 7-fold. They must give all the goods of their house. The adulterer lacks sense, ignores what's told. He destroys himself and also his spouse. Wounds, disgrace, and sorrow he will receive, and reproach never to be blotted out. A jealous man enraged will quickly conceive ideas for bringing vengeance about. He will not accept ransom of any price to restrain him from following his plan. He will follow his jealousy's clear advice and bring vengeance to the immoral man. Chapter 7. Son, my words value and treasure. Cherish my commands in your soul. Keep my commands, live and be whole. They are costly beyond measure. Bind them onto your fingers tight. Inscribe them for good on your heart. Say, Sister Wisdom, don't depart. Call understanding your delight. My words guard you from the temptress, who counts on you being flattered. At my window the drapes scattered. I saw the streets through my lattice, and I saw among the naive one who was young and lacking sense, passing by the temptress's fence. The path to her he would not leave. In the evening, in the twilight, in the heart of the night, in the dark, she comes with evil that is stark, dressed as a harlot, void of light. She is boisterous and devours. Her feet do not remain at home. In the streets and squares her feet roam, by every corner, at all hours. She seizes and kisses the man. Brazen-faced, she says in his ear, I'm due for peace offerings, dear. I paid my vows. I have a plan. I have come out to meet you, to search for you, and here you are. My couch has linens from afar, colored linens of every hue. I sprinkled my bed for tonight with fragrant spices, a sweet smell. Come and let us drink from love's well. With caresses, let us delight. For my husband just left at noon. He's on a journey far away with bags of money, so please stay. He won't return until full moon. With her foul words she entices. With evil lips and seduction, he follows her to destruction, now bound by her wicked vices, until arrows pierce through his heart, and like a bird ensnared he dies. Therefore, my son, forsake her lies, and from her temptations depart. Keep your heart from her direction. Don't walk in paths where she's walking. Many are lured by her talking. Many die from her infection. Her house is the pathway to hell, leading to the place of the dead. Let not your heart by her be led. Stay away from her foul spell. Chapter 8. Does not wisdom call aloud, and understanding raise her voice? On high roofs shouts to the crowd, where paths meet, giving people a choice. Near gates to the city she cries out in pity. To all men I call and plead, my voice is to the sons of men. O naive ones, come, please heed, and understand wisdom again. Listen to noble things. Truth is what wisdom brings. My mouth utters what is true. Wickedness is not on my lips. My words are right, and they're for you. Nothing crooked from my mouth slips. They're clear if you understand, and have knowledge in your hand. Choose instruction, not money. Choose knowledge instead of pure gold. Wisdom is sweet as honey, and her precious value untold. I, wisdom, give direction, and with me is discretion. To fear God is to abhor evil, pride, and the wicked way. Counsel on you I will pour, and knowledge is mine to convey. By me kings reign and see, and give a just decree. By me kings judge what is true, and so do all who judge aright. I love those who love me too. Seek, and you'll find me with delight. Wealth and honor are mine, constant goodness divine. My fruit is better than gold, my yield better than silver's price. To the godly way I hold, to the paths of justice precise, to give to those I love, wealth and gifts from above. 'Twas me that God owned and embraced before his works of old began. Before the earth I was placed, from the start I was in God's plan. Before the depths were here, before the springs flowed clear. Before mountains were in their place, before the hills I was on earth, before filling earth's new space, before the dust was brought to birth, when he made the heavens new, while on the deep he drew. when he made the highest skies and established the deepest springs, and set the seas lows and highs and gave water its orderings. I worked there as his delight. We rejoiced day and night. Rejoiced in his artistry. We were delighting in mankind. Therefore, sons, listen to me. Keep all my ways and blessings find. Heed counsel and be wise. Heed truth and reject lies. Listen and be blessed by me. Hear and watch at my gates and doors. He who finds me finds life's tree, and God upon him favor pours. Sinners bring themselves strife. Those who hate me hate life. Chapter 9. A home was built by wisdom divine. Her 7 pillars she did align. She prepared her food and mixed her wine, and placed her table where all may dine. She has sent her maidens, and they call from the top of the high city wall, "Please come here, we have wisdom for all." She invites the simple to her hall. "Come, eat food that for you I have fixed, and drink of the wine that I have mixed. Wisdom and folly don't stand betwixt. Walk with your eyes on wisdom transfixed." He who corrects a scoffer brings shame. Correcting them insults his own name. Reproving scoffers sparks hatred's flame. Reprove the wise, and love they'll proclaim. Correct the wise, and wisdom they'll gain. Teach the righteous, knowledge they'll attain. Fear of God begins wisdom's domain. Know God, and understanding obtain. By wisdom your days are multiplied. Many years of life will be supplied. If you are wise, you'll be satisfied. Scorners in their own scorn will reside. The woman of folly, crude and wild, is naive with no knowledge compiled. She sits in pride, never meek nor mild. She sits in the high places, defiled, calling to those who pass by her gate, who are trying to make their life's path straight. "All who are naive, come here, don't wait." To the unwise fool she gives this bait. Stolen water is tasty and sweet. Bread in secret is pleasant to eat. But they don't know where she leads their feet. Her guests are in hell, where the dead meet. Chapter 10. Proverbs of Solomon the King. Foolish sons grieve parents. Wise ones make them sing. Deceitful gains don't bring increase. Righteousness from death brings release. The righteous from hunger God keeps, but the wicked man's cravings are never met. Poor is he who constantly sleeps. Wealth comes from diligence and sweat. Sons who work hard in summer are wise. Shameful is he who his harvest work denies. The just have blessings on their head. The mouths of evil men hide dread. The just man's legacy is blessed, but the memories of the wicked will rot. Wise hearts receive commands and rest, but the foolish will come to naught. The righteous by God are enclosed, but he who walks perversely will be exposed. He who winks his eye brings trouble, and fools will be brought to rubble. Godly mouths are fountains of life, but the wicked mouth has violence within. Hatred will always stir up strife, but love will always cover sin. Discerning lips are wisdom's home. A rod is for people who from wisdom roam. Wise men store knowledge in their heart. With their mouths, fools tear things apart. Rich men are secure in their wealth. Poverty is the destruction of the poor. The righteous receive life and health, but sin is at the wicked's door. Walk life's way while keeping instruction. Those who ignore reproof go to destruction. He who conceals hatred tells lies, and from a fool's mouth slander flies. When words run wild, sin will be there, but he who restrains from much speaking is wise. Righteous lips are costly and rare, but wicked hearts people despise. Godly lips feed those they pass by, but by lack of understanding, fools will die. The blessing of the Lord brings gain. With it comes no sorrow or pain. Wicked actions delight all fools. An understanding man in wisdom delights. The wicked man's fear comes upon his soul. God fulfills men's pure appetites. The wind blows the wicked away. The righteous has a foundation that stays. Like toothaches, like smoke in the eyes, lazy men employers despise. Long life comes by fearing the Lord, but the years of the wicked will be cut short. The saints' hope is a glad reward. The wicked's hope they themselves thwart. God's way is home to the upright, but is ruin to those who against God fight. The righteous will not be shaken. The wicked will have their land taken. Tongues of the just with wisdom flow, but the tongue of perversion will be cut out. From righteous men's lips good things grow. The wicked's mouth is a foul spout. Proverbs chapter 11. A false and unjust balance is hated by God, but a truthful measurement has his love. The proud man will receive disgrace, shame, and a rod. To the humble comes wisdom from above. The integrity of the upright is their guide. The wicked destroy themselves by their deeds. In the day of wrath, riches will not save nor hide, but righteousness far from death's dark door leads. The righteousness of the upright makes their way smooth, but the wicked fall by their wicked ways. The righteousness of the upright will guide and soothe. The treacherous are trapped, on them greed preys. When wicked men die, their expectations perish. The hope of the unjust becomes as dead. The righteous the Lord does deliver and cherish. The wicked man finds trouble instead. The godless man destroys his neighbor with his voice, but by knowledge the righteous are set free. When it goes well with the godly, cities rejoice. When the wicked perish, they shout with glee. The blessing of the godly exalts a whole town. Mouths of the wicked tear it to the ground. He lacks sense who hates his neighbor and brings him down. Men of understanding sometimes don't make a sound. Gossips go about telling the secrets of all, but in the trustworthy you may confide. Where there is no counsel or guide, the people fall, but victory comes when counselors guide. The guarantor for a stranger will suffer pain, but he who denies them will be secure. Honor a gracious woman will always attain, but ruthless men will much lucre procure. Merciful men do themselves good by being kind. Those who are cruel, harm to themselves will do. The wicked earn money by their deceitful mind. Sowing righteousness brings fruit that is true. The steadfastly righteous life and peace will receive, but the evil their own lives will destroy. Abominations to God are those who deceive, but the ways of the blameless bring God joy. Justice and punishment to the evil one flows. Freedom flows in the godly's direction. Like a ring of glittering gold in a pig's nose is a fair woman who lacks discretion. Only good things are the righteous man's desires, but wrath is the wicked's expectation. The one who gives much away still more acquires. Those who keep what's due find degradation. In abundance, the generous man will attain. In helping others, he is helped as well. All the people will curse him who withholds his grain, but God's blessing will be on those who sell. Favor comes to the diligent seeker of right. He who seeks evil, by it is soon found. He who trusts in his riches will fall from his height. The righteous flourish like plants in good ground. The wind comes to him who troubles his family. Wise-hearted people will rule over fools. The fruit of the righteous is a life-giving tree, and the man who is wise-hearted wins souls. If the godly will be rewarded here and now, in this age and when the earth is made new, how much more will the wicked, who to God do not bow, will reap the punishment that to them is due. Chapter 12. He who loves reproof loves what is true. Fools hate reproof, folly they pursue. The favor of God good men attain. God condemns those who evil construe. By wickedness a man will not gain. The righteous gain and keep their domain. A noble wife is her husband's crown, but she who shames destroys and brings pain. Righteous thoughts are just and bring renown. Deceitful plans the wicked write down. For murder, wicked words lie in wait. The words of the just can free a town. The vile are thrown down, such is their fate. Firm is the righteous man's house and gate. Good men will be honored by insight, but unjust men receive only hate. Better to be low in others' sight than be poor and in self-praise delight. The godly give their animals care. Even the wicked man's mercy has spite. He who tills his land will have bread there. He who loves worthless things must beware. Yields of evil the wicked desire, but the just man's roots provide fruit to share. From sinful speech bondage does transpire. The righteous will escape from the fire. Men are satisfied by their words' fruit. What they sow, they will also acquire. Folly seems right to those not astute, but a wise man stays in counsel's root. A fool's anger is quickly well known. Prudent men, when dishonored, are mute. From truth-tellers' mouths right ways are shown. False witnesses deceitfully moan. The foolish tongues are like swords when they speak. Healing comes from wise tongues and their tone. Lips are established when truth they seek. A false tongue's credibility is weak. Deceit fills the evil, scheming soul. Counselors of peace are glad and meek. Schemes against the just won't reach their goal. The wicked with pain are always full. God hates lips that lying words proclaim, but truthfulness he does extol. Prudent people have tongues that are tame, but folly fools do quickly exclaim. The diligent will rule with their hand, but sluggards will receive bondage and shame. Men with anxious hearts struggle to stand, but a good word brings gladness so grand. The righteous lead neighbors in God's way. The wicked lead them out of the land. Lazy men won't even roast their prey. The diligent man's good things will stay. In the righteous way shines life's array. Its straight path is free of death's dismay. Chapter 13. Wise sons let their fathers correct, but discipline scoffers reject. Good things are the fruit of one's words. By foul lips is evil incurred. Guarding your lips protects your soul. Neglect them, and to ruin stroll. Lazy souls don't get as they wish, while earnest souls have a full dish. Righteous men despise what's unjust. Acts of the wicked bring disgust. Righteousness guards the blameless way, but sin ruins and leads astray. There are poor men who act wealthy. Some men with their wealth are stealthy. A man's ransom is his assets, but the poor man doesn't hear threats. The godly's light with gladness shouts. The wicked's lamp will be put out. Contention and strife spring from pride. The humble with wisdom abide. Wealth fades fast when by fraud obtained. By labor, lasting wealth is gained. Hearts get sick when hope is deferred. By longings met is life conferred. Despise the word and be torn down, or love the word and get renown. Life flows free from the wise man's mouth. It frees from snares and waters droughts. Favor's source is understanding, but evil ways are demanding. The prudent man with knowledge acts, but fools make clear that they hate facts. Wicked servants trouble the calm. Faithful servants give healing balm. Shame comes when knowledge is neglected. Regard reproof and be respected. Longings filled are sweet to the soul. A fool is proud to be a fool. Walk with the wise, you'll be wise too. Friendship with fools only hurts you. Sinners by trouble are pursued, but saints are prospered and renewed. A legacy a good man leaves. The wicked's wealth good men receive. Much food is waiting for the poor. Injustice sweeps it from their door. To not correct is hate indeed. Loving discipline children need. Saints have plenty of food and seed, but the wicked for crumbs do plead. Chapter 14. Every wise woman builds her home, but fools tear it down with their hands. Fear God, and from truth you won't roam. Men who hate God in evil land. In foolish mouths are rods of pride. By wise lips men safely abide. Clean stalls have no oxen inside, but increase oxen's strength provides. A faithful witness says what's true. Truth, false witnesses always skew. Scorners seek wisdom they won't find. Truth comes with ease to hearts inclined. In a fool's presence do not stay, when lips of knowledge aren't perceived. Wisdom makes clear to man his way, but fools to their folly have cleaved. Fools when they sin don't make amends. Saints have favor without an end. Hearts only themselves comprehend. To heart's deepest feelings none descend. The wicked's house is overthrown. Saints' homes are blessed and well known. There's a way which seems right to go, but the path leads to hell below. Even in laughter hearts may grieve, and when the joy ends, there's grief. Fools are hurt when wisdom they leave. Good men's fruits are joy and relief. The fools believe all that they hear. Saints' lives by wisdom they do steer. The wise hate evil, God they fear, but fools boldly make anger clear. The easily angered in folly deal. Wicked men are hated with zeal. Folly is the reward of fools, but knowledge crowns the prudent souls. The evil bow before the just. The wicked bow at the saint's gate. The poor face hatred and disgust. The rich have friends in numbers great. To hate your neighbor, that is sin. The merciful have joy within. Men fall as their evil plans begin. Blessed are good planners and their kin. In all hard work there is reward, but mere talking none can afford. The wise have riches as a crown. Himself a foolish man tears down. A truthful witness saves a life. A lying witness speaks a lie. In fearing God, you're safe from strife. God is your shelter and supply. Fearing God is a holy spring. Away from death it safely brings. Great populations honor kings. Lack of people brings ruin's sting. Men with wisdom are slow to wrath, but fools look for the hasty path. Life flows out of a peaceful heart, but envy tears a man apart. Oppressive men bring God disgust. Men bless God by loving the poor. By man's own sin away he's thrust. The godly have a hope at death's door. In a wise heart wisdom does rest, but a fool speaks without request. Righteousness makes a nation blessed. Sin brings reproach when manifest. The king's favor is toward the wise, but the shameful he does despise. On the godly his smile shines, and delights to say, "You are mine." Chapter 15. Soft answers calm one's aggravation, but awful words bring agitation. Wise tongues know wisdom's application, but mouths of fools bring degradation. God's eyes are watching all creation, beholding every situation. Giving life is the tongue's vocation. Perverse words lead to desolation. Advice to fools suffers negation, but humble men gain admiration. Saints receive wealth's accumulation, but evil wealth has no duration. Wise lips give helpful information. Vain is a fool's communication. Wicked gifts are abominations. Heartfelt prayers bring God delectation. God hates the wicked's aspirations. The saints receive God's adoration. The fool forsakes God's consultation, and it leads him to condemnation. God clearly sees hell's devastation, and always sees the heart's location. Fools hate godly recommendations, rejecting wise men's invitations. A glad face shows the heart's elation. Hearts break by pain and isolation. Wise men hunger for revelation, but fools despise all education. The oppressed suffer consternation. Glad hearts are as joy's habitation. Better is less with right relations than great treasure with separations. Mere herbs with love at celebrations are better than feasts with vexations. A wrathful man starts altercations. Peaceful men bring conciliation. Fools' paths have many limitations. Godly paths have less complications. Wise sons bring fathers jubilation. Fools' mothers are their detestations. Folly fills fools with exultation. Upright men practice consecration. Plans need counsel in their formation. They succeed by much contemplation. Joy comes by one's vocalization, and timely words are consolations. Life's way brings wise men elevation, leading far from hell's decimation. To prideful homes come defamation. God protects widows' allocations. The wicked's thoughts bring God frustration. Pure men's words bring alleviation. The greedy reap humiliation. To have life, hate a bribe's temptation. Saints think before articulation. Fools have no rationalization. From God, fools have alienation. Saints with God have unification. Light-filled eyes bring others elation. Bones strengthen at good proclamations. Take counsel and make adaptations. Abide in the wise congregation. Fools hurt their soul and reputation. Knowledge is the meek's compensation. Wisdom brings the heart to prostration, and meekness precedes veneration. Chapter 16. The plans of a man are in his heart. Wise words from his tongue are from the Lord. In men's eyes their ways are right and smart, but all men's hearts by God are explored. Commit to God every plan and way, He will establish here every path. All that God made has a part to play. The vile are made for the day of wrath. The Lord detests the man full of pride, who will be punished for his foul deeds. Sin is cleansed by truth and mercy's tide. Far from evil, the fear of God leads. When a man's heart and deeds please the Lord, God makes his foes with him be at peace. Godliness without much owned or stored is better than sin with great increase. A man's heart directs the way he goes, but the Lord directs the steps he takes. A divine law from a king's mouth flows. He speaks without error for justice's sake. A just weight and balance are from God. The scales of justice are in his hands. 'Tis wretched when kings in sin do trod. By righteousness a king's kingdom stands. Righteous lips are the delight of kings. Kings honor and love those who speak right. The wrath of a king does bring death's sting, but wise men pacify a king's spite. The king's countenance gives life untold. His favor is as clouds with spring rain. 'Tis better to gain wisdom than gold, to gain knowledge than silver attain. God's ways lead from where evil resides. Men that keep their way preserve their soul. Destruction awaits all men of pride. The haughty will fall into a hole. Prefer being humble with the meek to splitting the spoils with the proud. Good comes to men who for wisdom seek. All who trust God with joy are endowed. The wise shall be called understanding. Persuasive are the lips that are sweet. Life flows to the wise and upstanding. From fools folly flows, bringing deceit. The wise soul guides and teaches his lips, adding to his words persuasive tones. Pleasant words are like honey as it drips, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. There is a way that seems right to go, but the path leads straight to hell below. It's good when a worker's hunger grows. Hard work will then most surely follow. The ungodly search for evil things, and their lips are as a burning flame. From the heart of perverse men strife springs. Gossips thwart friendships by their false claims. Violent men their neighbors do entice, and lead them into the darkest street. Vile men wink their eyes and devise a vice. Their lips bring forth evil and deceit. Gray hair is as a glorious crown, if in the righteous way it is found. Better is peace than might and renown, to roll your spirit than take a town. The lot into the lap is thrown down, but God decides the way that is sound. Chapter 17. Better is dry bread with peace and life, than a house of feasting filled with strife. Wives' slaves reign over sons who cause shame, and inheritance they'll surely claim. By fire the dross from gold departs, but the Lord refines and tests the hearts. A wicked man heeds deceitful words, and loves to hear what's vile and absurd. Mockers of poor men defy their God. One who mocks others will face a rod. Grandchildren are the crown of the old. Children give fathers honor untold. Fine speech is not fitting for a fool. Lies are not fitting for those who rule. Bribes are as gifts, charms, and costly gems. People think they're blessed by having them. He who seeks love covers over a trespass. By repeated sin, friendships collapse. Wise men by reproofs will receive gain. Fools won't even learn lessons by pain. Rebellion is sought by evil fools. To them are sent envoys who are cruel. It's better to meet an angry bear than to find a fool in folly's snare. To he who gives evil when shown grace, evil will not depart from his place. Strife's start is as a strong waterspout. Quit quarrels before trouble breaks out. The judge who perverts truth is unjust. He brings the Lord anger and disgust. Wisdom's price is found in the fool's hand, yet he has no heart to understand. A friend's love will always last and stay, and brothers are born for a bad day. A fool pledges his life and labor to pay debts in front of his neighbor. He who loves strife also loves to sin. He exalts his gate, and grief comes in. Goodness avoids unclean minds and lips. The wicked mouth into evil slips. Mothers of fools by sorrow are bound, and fathers of fools there's no joy found. A happy heart heals, it's the best cure. A broken spirit cannot endure. A bribe an unrighteous man will take to pervert justice for evil's sake. Men of knowledge keep wisdom in sight, but the fool's eyes roam and have no light. Fathers grieve over sons who are fools. The fool's way brings pain to his mother's soul. The innocent man should not be fined, nor nobles punished for being kind. Men with knowledge have tongues that are tame. They don't let their temper quickly inflame. When a fool's tongue is under control, he's seen as an understanding soul. Chapter 18. When a man separates himself from friends, against kind-hearted wisdom he contends. Understanding is not loved by a fool. He delights in venting his bitter soul. When the wicked man comes, he brings his shame, devising to dishonor and defame. The words of a man's mouth are as deep streams. The heart of a wise man with wisdom teems. Do not overlook the crimes of the vile. Be sure to give just men a fair trial. A fool's mouth loves strife, scoffing, and fighting. A beating his folly is inviting. Of the fruit of their lips fools must beware. By their words fools their own selves will ensnare. Like morsels of food are a gossip's words. Souls will remember the gossip they've heard. The sluggard in his slothful ways takes joy, and is a brother to those who destroy. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The godly are kept safe by its power. A rich man's wealth is his refuge and prize. It's as a high fortress in his own eyes. Before his destruction comes a man's pride. Honor finds those who in meekness abide. He who answers before he hears the facts receives only shame by his foolish acts. A sick man by his spirit is sustained, but who can bear a spirit that is pained? Knowledge is sought by those who are prudent, who throughout their lives are wisdom's students. A man's gift will give him an open door. The renowned his gift will bring him before. He that is first to plead his case seems right, till new evidence is brought to light. Casting lots causes contentions to cease, and between mighty opponents brings peace. It's hard to win back a friend who's irate. Offense separates friends like bars of a gate. By their own lips' fruit, men's needs are supplied. By their words' harvest, they are satisfied. The tongue can give life or take it away. All people eat the fruit of what they say. He who finds a wife finds a great treasure and obtains God's favor beyond measure. The poor man pleads, making known his dire need. The rich man screams in his anger and greed. Poorly chosen friends bring a man despair, but there's a friend who always shares and cares. Chapter 19. Better to be upright and poor than foolish with riches galore. Those without knowledge must beware. The hasty fall into sin's snare. Great ruin is a fool's reward. His heart rages against the Lord. Wealth adds an abundance of friends. The friendships of the poor soon end. Punishment will meet those who lie, and justice shall not pass them by. Many seek the favor of kings. Gift-giving will many friends bring. The fraud of poor men's friends confounds. They're gone and nowhere to be found. The man who learns loves his own soul. The wise man with goodness is full. Justice will not pass liars by. Deceitful men shall surely die. Luxury does not fit a fool. Servants don't over princes rule. Men tame anger by discretion and overlook a transgression. Fear follows the wrath of a king, but his smile is as dew in spring. Foolish sons bring their father's strife. Woe comes from a contentious wife. A father gives his child a house, but the Lord gives a prudent spouse. Laziness brings on a tired mood, and an idle man has no food. Life is kept by keeping God's word. By scorning truth, death is incurred. He who helps the poor to God lends. God will pay back all that he spends. While you still can, correct your son. Help him before his life is done. Angry men must pay for their crimes, or they'll do wrong many more times. Accept counsel and love God's ways, and you'll be wise for all your days. In man's heart many ways are planned, but the counsel of God will surely stand. A man's kindness people admire. Poor men are better than liars. The fear of the Lord to life leads. It protects and fulfills one's needs. Sluggards drop their hands in defeat and won't even lift them to eat. Punishment teaches the naive. Humble men to correction cleave. Sons who cause parents' ruination bring shame and humiliation. If the heeding of truth you cease, you will stray from knowledge and peace. The wicked witness mocks the just. The vile spreads sin and bring disgust. Fools receive their judgment that's due, reproach, disgrace, and beatings too. Chapter 20. Wine is a mocker, strong drink causes rage. Fools are deceived by them and led astray. The fierceness of kings is like a great roar. Those who provoke them endanger their life. It is honorable to cease from strife, but a fool meddles at their neighbor's door. The sluggard will not plow on a cold day, therefore he will beg at the harvest stage. Counsel in a man's heart is like deep springs. It will be drawn out by men who are wise. Most men will tell others that they are great, but a truly faithful man who can find? The just man walks uprightly and is kind. His children are blessed by his godly state. Kings sit on their throne and look with their eyes, dispersing the foulness that evil brings. Who can say, I, from sin, have cleansed my heart? To all of God's ways I always adhere. Diverse measures and weights that are not true, to the Lord both are abominations. Even children acquire reputations, whether or not they're right in what they do. Ears that can hear and eyes with sight that's clear. God designed and created every part. Love not sleep lest you lose all that you own. Awaken and work and be satisfied. It is worth nothing, says the lying fool, but he boasts after he buys what was sold. There are many rubies and much pure gold. Lips of knowledge are a more precious jewel. Take a pledge from the man who has supplied. To foreigners, guarantees or a loan. The bread of deceit is sweet to a man, but his mouth is filled with stones in the end. Every purpose by counsel is made sure. Without good advice, do not go to war. From the mouth of a gossip, secrets pour. Men who flatter with their lips, please ignore. A curse to his parents a fool does send. Darkness comes to him and ruins his plan. An inheritance that's taken with haste will not bring blessing like the taker thought. Do not say, the wicked men, they will pay, but wait on God, who is mighty to save. False weights in the vile ways that men behave are offensive to God and bring dismay. The ways and steps of man by God are wrought, so on what is man's understanding based? Taking a vow hastily is a snare. Consider it first with much thought and care. A wise king gives deceitful men a scare, brings the wheel over them and lays them bare. A man's spirit is lit with God's lamp's glare, searching in the inner man everywhere. By mercy and truth the king keeps his chair. He upholds his throne by the love he shares. Young men are known by the strength that they bear. The splendor of old men is their gray hair. A wound can cleanse from evil and prepare the soul, too, of wisdom. Be aware. Chapter 21. A king's heart is in the Lord's hand. He directs it as he has planned. A man's ways are right in his eyes, but God's judgment is true and wise. By obedience, God is pleased. By sacrifice, he's not appeased. Haughty eyes and hearts of pride, in wickedness and sin abide. The diligence plan brings increase, but haste causes profits to cease. A fortune made by lying fools is fleeting and ensnares their souls. The wicked's wrath leads them astray. They refuse to walk in God's way. The guilty live lives of deceit. The innocent don't lie or cheat. Living on the roof of your house beats living with a quarrelsome spouse. Evil the wicked man does crave. He sends his neighbor to the grave. By a scoffer's pain fools can learn. Wise men heed the knowledge they earn. The righteous man considers well how the vile are cast down to hell. He who ignores a poor man's cry will cry himself, but be left to die. A gift in secret satisfies, anger and wrath it pacifies. In justice the upright take joy. The wicked justice does destroy. Men who neglect the ways of God into the paths of death will trod. Poor is the man who loves pleasure. He'll lose his joy and his treasure. A ransom for the upright man shall be the vile by their failed plan. Much better is a lonely life than living in strife with your wife. Godly homes have treasure and oil, but fools waste the fruit of their toil. Seek goodness, and life you will find. With God and truth you'll be aligned. The wise are stronger than the strong. They pull down strongholds and thwart wrong. The words of your mouth please restrain, and you'll be kept from much pain. The proud and haughty scorn and steal. In deceit and proud wrath they deal. The sluggard dies by his desire. His hands do nothing but retire. Sluggards covet with greedy glares. The righteous give and do not spare. Foul is the wicked's offering. Vile hearts pollute the gifts they bring. False witnesses will soon perish, but righteous men the truth cherish. The wicked wear a face that's bold. Saints are led by their hearts of gold. Nothing against God can prevail. All plans and schemes will surely fail. Prepared are the horse and the sword, but victory comes from the Lord. Chapter 22. A good name has value untold, greater than all silver and gold. The rich and poor share this bond. The Lord has created them all. Saints to evil wisely respond, but fools head forward to their fall. Humility and fearing God brings blessings high and blessings broad. The wicked's path has thorns and snares. Good men are safe and far from there. Train up your children in God's way, and on His path they'll always stay. The poor are slaves until the day their debts to their lenders they pay. He that sows sin shall reap what's vain. By his anger he will not gain. The generous man will be blessed. He gives the poor man food and rest. Drive out the scoffer, make him leave, then strife and contention will end. The pure in heart, who to grace cleave, truly have the King as a friend. The eyes of God guard what is wise. God overthrows the sinner's lies. The sluggard will not move his feet. He says, "Lions are in the street." The mouths of harlots are defiled. By them sinful men are ensnared. Foolishness is found in a child. It leaves when the rod is not spared. The greedy man who wants renown will find his house and life torn down. Please bow your ear and wise words heed. On truth, wisdom, and knowledge feed. It's pleasant to keep them in mind. From your lips let them not depart, so that truth you will know and find, and trust in God with all your heart. Aren't these truths such excellent things? Counsel to you they'll always bring. When certainty of truth you know, wise answers from your mouth will flow. Don't rob a man because he's poor, or crush the oppressed at their gate. God will plead their case and assure that His wrath is the sinner's fate. With angry men don't go along. Being close friends with them is wrong. If you're friends with an angry fool, you likely will ensnare your soul. Do not agree to guarantee others' responsibility. If you do, you won't be free. You may lose all of your money. Don't move the ancient boundary that was set by your ancestry. Skillful work done diligently brings men before dignitaries. Chapter 23. When you eat with kings, do not eat with haste. Self-control please bring to your every taste. Over food don't lust, and king's food don't trust. Let go of your hold on your lust for gold. Riches wings do spread, they fly far away. Don't eat the vile's bread, or want their buffet. Men are as they think. Liars say, eat and drink. You'll throw up their food and waste your gratitude. Don't speak in fools' ears. The wise they despise. Keep old landmarks clear. Don't steal the poor's prize. God is their safe place. He will plead their case. Heed corrective words. Embrace what you've heard. Please do not neglect correcting your child. Yes, you must correct, lest he be defiled. Son, if you are wise, joy shall fill my eyes. My heart will rejoice at your righteous voice. Do not envy fools, always honor God. The hope of your soul will endure unflawed. Listen in your youth, guide your heart with truth. Leave men of much wine, with gluttons don't dine. Both of them shall find poverty indeed. Keep my words in mind, your mum's words please heed. Truth buy and don't sell, buy wisdom as well. The righteous son's dad is forever glad. In how good sons live, their parents delight. Your heart to me give, keep my paths in sight. Harlots are deep pits, to them don't submit. They wait for their prey, then lead them astray. Who has strife and woe, and whose eyes are red? Those who don't let go of wine, they're misled. Don't let wine ensnare, by its color fair. It bites like a snake, for your torment's sake. You'll hallucinate, lies communicate, and you'll dislocate your mind's steadfast state. You'll say, I feel great, for more I can't wait. Chapter 24. Do not envy the evil man, nor his company desire. Their hearts devise an evil plan, their vexing lips never tire. Through wisdom a house is built well. By understanding it's fortified. By knowledge shall the chambers swell. With the riches it does provide. A wise man is mighty indeed. A man of knowledge gains power. By wise counsel you will succeed, and find safety in war's dark hour. Wisdom is too great for a fool. In the gate he shall stand silent. He will be called a wicked soul, whose plans are foul and violent. Planning of foolishness is sin. Scorners are abominations. If against trouble you don't win, your strength needs invigoration. Deliver those who are dying, and those on their way to be slain. To say, I knew not, is lying. Justice for them God will attain. My child, of honey eat your full. Honeycomb is sweet to your taste, as is God's wisdom to your soul. With it hope will not be displaced. Against the good do not devise. Do not spoil their resting place. When a just man falls, he will rise, but the wicked fall in disgrace. Rejoice not at the strife of foes, and do not be glad when they're hurt, lest God grieve and his anger goes, and his wrath he does not exert. Of evil men be not afraid. Be not jealous of them or pout. No reward to them shall be paid. Their lamp shall shortly go out. My son, fear God and the King. With the unfaithful do not dwell. Calamity their sin will bring. Justice surely shall serve them well. These things are sayings of the wise. Judge fairly, judge without favor. Those who refuse to penalize, hatred of them nations will aver. He who rebukes what is not right will find favor and find blessing. Everyone shall surely delight in men of righteous addressing. Prepare your work out in the field, and after construct your dwelling. To deceitfulness do not yield, despise lies, cleave to truth-telling. Revenge take not into your hands. Do not pay back men for their deeds. I walked nearby the sluggard's lands, near vineyards of a fool indeed. They were covered with thorns and weeds. The nettles grew and spread their seeds. Into the matter I did read, and received instruction to heed. When you think it is sleep you need, and then to slumber you concede, then shall poverty's power proceed to overtake you with great speed. Chapter 25. These are Solomon's sacred sound sayings, which the men of King Hezekiah kept. It is God's glory to conceal great things, a king's glory to search out his precepts. As the earth is deep and heavens are high, the heart of a king is vast as the sky. Refine the silver and the dross remove. It is ready to mold, for it is pure. Kings banish the wicked. Their throne is proved. Their kingdom is established and secure. Think twice before entering the king's gate, and stand not in the presence of the great. It is better to be told, "Come up here," than to be humbled in the prince's sight. Do not swiftly rush to the judge's sphere with your neighbor when he may be shown right. Debate with him on the way to court. The secrets of others do not report. For he that hears you may put you to shame, and your reputation shall surely stay. A good word fitly spoken is the same as apples of gold in silver's array. Like the finest gold in all the earth is reproof to those who love wisdom's worth. As cold snows during the harvest season, loyal messengers refresh and sustain. He that boasts of himself for false reasons is like clouds and wind without any rain. By long patience is a prince persuaded. A soft tongue can break a bone unaided. When you find honey, eat until you're full, lest you get sick overeating what's sweet. When by your neighbor's house, your steps control, lest people hate you because of your feet. The man who testifies deceit and lies is as a sword and an arrow that flies. To trust the unfaithful while you're in pain is as one's foot or tooth breaking apart. As he that takes your coat in snow or rain is he that sings songs to a heavy heart. If your enemy hungers, give him bread. Be sure he has water and is well fed. This will heap coals of fire upon his head, and the Lord shall surely recompense you. Rain comes, and by the north wind it is led. So anger by backbiting tongues is brewed. It is better to dwell in a small space than with a brawling wife in a large place. As are cold waters to a thirsty soul, so is good news that comes from far away. A good man yielding to evil's control is as a filthy spring, muddy and gray. Too much honey causes sickness and moans, as when men seek glory to be their own. He that rolls not over his spirit's throne is like a city that's been overthrown. Chapter 26. As a harvest rain or a summer snow, honor a foolish man will never know. As the bird wanders and the swallow flies, the causeless curse will not land, though it tries. Like whips for horses and bridles for colts, with pain from the rod, a fool's back shall jolt. Answer not fools according to their way, lest you be like them by words that you say. Answer a fool according to his way, lest he be wise in his own eyes and stray. He who sends a message by a fool's hand drinks damage to himself and cannot stand. A man's legs are useless when he is lame, and a fool who teaches inherits shame. As he that binds a slingshot to its stone, so is he that makes a fool's honor known. The pain of thorns the drunkard cannot feel, so are those who are numb to God's appeal. Like a careless archer wounds his neighbor, is he who hires fools to do his labor. As dogs to their vomit often return, fools return to folly and never learn. A man who is wise in his own conceit is more likely than fools to reap defeat. The lazy, slothful man falsely repeats, "There's a lion in the lane and in the streets." As a door does turn upon its hinge, lazy men turn in bed, and on sleep binge. The slothful man hides his hand in his seat, so that he doesn't have to lift it and eat. The sluggard is wiser in his own eyes than 7 men who are true and wise. Meddling in others' strife so drear is like taking hold of a dog by his ear. Like madmen with arrows, fire, and smoke are liars who say, "It's only a joke." Where there's no wood, there is no fire. There is no strife when there is no liar. As the wood gives fire, fuel, and life, so contentious men kindle strife. The words of a talebearer are as treats, sinking into the belly of the one who eats. Hiding a wicked heart with fervent lips is like clothing earthenware with silver strips. He that hates speaks a disguise, and within himself lays up lies. When he speaks fairly, reject his oration, for in his heart are 7 abominations. His hate by deceit is covered and sealed, but soon his wickedness shall be revealed. He who digs a pit will fall into it, and he that rolls his stone will himself be hit. A lying tongue hates those it crushes, and from a flattering mouth ruin rushes. Chapter 27. Boast not about a coming day. You don't know what may come your way. Do not brag in selfish praise. Let another your merits raise. Heavy stones and sand our wagons fill. A fool's wrath is heavier still. Fury's a flood and wrath is fierce, and envy never fails to pierce. Open rebuke done in the light is better than hidden delight. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but a fool's kiss deceives in the end. The fool's soul refuses to eat. To the hungry even what's bitter is sweet. As a bird that from her nest does roam is a man that wanders from his home. Ointment and perfume bring delight. So does counsel that's sweet and right. Do not forsake the family friend. On each other neighbors depend. My son, be wise and I'll have glee, that I may answer my enemy. The wise man foresees evil and hides. The fool keeps going and with evil collides. To do a deal is surely danger with one who guarantees the debt of a stranger. Rising early to loudly bless is counted as a curse, no less. A contentious wife and her ways are like a constant drip on rainy days. Stopping her is like stopping wind or grasping oil that can't be pinned. Iron sharpens iron when they meet. Men sharpen each other when minds compete. Those who tend their tree will eat its fruit. Those who serve well will be held in good repute. As water shows a face reflected, the heart shows man's character when inspected. Death's abode is hungry and never full, nor are the eyes of men that lack control. The crucible tests silver, and the furnace gold. People are tested by praise that about them is told. Though you pound a fool to the ground, his folly shall forever abound. Know your flocks, and show them care. With them your love and attention share. Neither riches, wealth, treasures, or crowns last forever. The old hay goes, the new grass grows. We harvest the herbs, into our home they flow. Your clothing the lambs shall yield, and the goats shall bring the price of a field. Plenty of goat's milk shall be obtained, and your whole household shall be sustained. Chapter 28. The wicked flee when none pursue. The good are bold in all they do. By the sin of a land many rule, but a land will endure under wise control. Poor men who oppress those in need are like rain that destroys crops and seeds. Wicked people law forsakers commend, keepers of the law with them contend. Knowledge of justice vile men never own, but to seekers of God all things are known. Better is the poor whose ways are upright than the crooked, even if he's full of wealth and might. He who keeps the law is a son who's wise. Companions of gluttons make their fathers ashamed and despised. Wealth, which men by deceit procure, is gathered for those who are gracious to the poor. He who from the law turns his eyes, even his prayers are despised. Those who lead others astray will fall into their own pit, but only good will the blameless inherit. The rich man thinks that he is wise, but the poor discerning man sees through him with his eyes. When the righteous rise and rejoice, glory is great, but people hide themselves when the wicked rise full of hate. He will not prosper who conceals sin. Those who confess and forsake sin, let mercy in. How blessed is the man who always reveres. Those who harden themselves will fall into calamity and tears. Wicked rulers over weak people show no care, but are like a roaring lion or a rushing bear. A leader lacks understanding if he oppresses people and does wrong, but one who hates unjust gain will his days prolong. One laden with the guilt of bloodshed shall be a fugitive until he is dead. Rescued the blameless shall be, but the crooked shall fall swiftly. He who tills his land will with goods overflow. He who follows vain pursuits, poverty he'll know. A faithful man with blessings does abound. He who rushes to be rich by trouble will be found. To show partiality one should dread. People will transgress for a piece of bread. A man with an evil eye lunges after luxury, not knowing that lack will be his discovery. He who rebukes a man, favor will he find, more than the flatterer who with his words does bind. He who robs his parents and says, "It is not sin," is a destroyer's companion. A man of arrogance stirs up strife. He who trusts the Lord will prosper in life. A fool trusts in his own heart. The wise from safety won't depart. He who gives to the poor will have a full purse. He who shuts his eyes to them will have many a curse. When the wicked rise, men hide and can't be found. But when they perish, the righteous abound. Chapter 29. One who continues to reject reproof that's fair will suddenly be broken beyond repair. When the righteous increase, the people are glad. When the wicked rule, the people are sad. The son who loves wisdom makes his father rejoice. Others waste their wealth on harlots, a perverse choice. By justice a king secures a land and lets it grow. One who takes bribes brings the nation low. A man who lays a net of deceit through flattery will himself fall into it suddenly. The evil are ensnared by transgression's cords, but the righteous rejoice and sing to the Lord. Compassion for the poor the righteous share. The wicked don't understand why they care. Scorners set a city on fire, but peace is the wise man's desire. When the wise contend with fools, there is no rest. They follow no rules. Murderers hate the pure and cause strife, but the upright are concerned for their life. A fool lets his anger manifest. A wise man's anger can be suppressed. When rulers reject and renounce what's true, all their servants become wicked too. The poor has this in common with the man of might. To the eyes of both, the Lord gives light. The king who rightly judges the poor will make his throne forever secure. Wisdom comes from reproofs, admonishings. A child without discipline shame to his mother brings. The wicked increase, transgression grows tall, but the righteous will see them fall. Correct your son, comfort he'll bring. He will make your good soul sing. When vision disappears, all are unrestrained. Happy are those who in God's word remain. A servant by mere words will not learn. Though he understands, wisdom he spurns. Do you see a man who over his tongue exerts no control? There is less hope for him than for a fool. He who pampers his servant as a child will in the end find him like unto an heir who's wild. The angry stir up strife with their angry sounds. The hot-tempered in sin abound. A man's pride will bring him low. On the humble spirit, honor God will bestow. A partner of thieves is full of self-hate. He hears the oath, yet has nothing to state. The fear of man brings a snare. Trusting the Lord sets free from care. Many seek the king's favor and trust, but from the Lord comes what is just. An unjust man the righteous hate, and the wicked hate the upright's state. Chapter 30. The words of Agur, son of Jekah, the oracle. The man says to Ithiel and Ucal, surely I know less than any man, understanding less than every man can. On wisdom's path I have not begun. I have no knowledge of the Holy One. Who has ascended to heaven high? Who has grasped the winds of the sky? Who has clothed the waters of the sea and established earth's boundary? What is the name of the Holy One? If you know, tell me his name and the name of his Son. Every word of God is proved. Those who trust in him shall not be moved. Add not to his words lest you be reproved and your honest reputation be removed. 2 things I ask you, O Most High. Do not refuse me before I die. Keep far from me all deceit and lies. Feed me only my daily bread. Let poverty and riches pass me by, lest I be full and your name I deny, or by stealing profane the name of my God on whom I rely. Do not spew the slanderous sound, or cursed and guilty you will be found. There is a whole generation that curses their father and mother's station. There is a generation who thinks they are pure, yet of their filthiness you can be sure. There is a generation with lofty eyes, their eyelids in arrogance are raised to the skies. There is a generation whose teeth are as swords, to devour the weak and bind them with cords. The daughters of the leech, give, give, cry. There are 4 things that can't be satisfied: Sheol, the barren womb, the dry ground, and a fire that burns unbound. The eye who mocks his parents with shouts shall by ravens be plucked out. There are 3 things too great to receive, 4 which I cannot perceive: the eagles who fly, serpents on a rock, a man with his wife, and ships of the sea before they dock. The adulterous woman's way, she eats and wipes her mouth to say, I have done nothing wrong today. Under 3 things the earth shakes, under 4 it can't help but quake: when a servant becomes the nation's head, or a fool satisfied with his own bread, an odious woman on her wedding day, or a servant who chases her mistress away. 4 things on earth are tiny and small, yet they heed wisdom's call. The ants are not greatly strong, yet they stock food that lasts all winter long. The conies are weak for sure, yet in the rocks they dwell secure. The locusts lack a king's commands, yet they all go forth in bands. The lizard you may catch with your hands, yet in kings' palaces it stands. There are 3 things royal and great, even 4, which are stately in their gait: the lion, which is great in might, and never retreats from a fight; the rooster, the male goat, and a king. His army along with him he brings. If exalting yourself you've acted absurd, or have plotted evil, cover your mouth and don't say a word. Milk churned, butter it brings, so from anger strife springs. Proverbs 31. These are King Lemuel's words, and oracle which from his mother he heard. You are of my womb, dear son, son of my vows when my marriage had begun. To women give not your strength away, and do not heed destruction's say. It is not for kings to drink wine, or to desire strong drink when they dine, lest they drink and forget what is decreed, and take away the rights of those in need. Give strong drink to those about to perish. Give wine to him whose life he does not cherish. Let him drink and forget his needs till tomorrow. Let him drink and forget his sorrow. Open your mouth for those who can't speak. Defend the rights of all the weak. Open your mouth and judge with truth, and defend the poor and the helpless youth. An excellent wife, who can find one in all the earth? For above gold and jewels is her great worth. Her husband trusts her from his heart, and from gain and good he won't depart. She does him good in all her ways, and continues to for all her days. She looks for work in flax and wool, and with delight her hands are full. She is like the merchant ship from another land. She brings her food from afar and cooks it with her hands. She rises while it is still night, and gives her household food and might. She considers a field that is for sale, buys it, and plants a vineyard as well. She arms herself with strength and might to do the things she knows is right. She senses her good gain and profit, and at night her candle stays lit. She stretches out her hands to sew. The way of weaving she certainly knows. She stretches out her hands to the poor, looking for a chance to give some more. She's not afraid of snow or cold. Clothed with scarlet is her whole household. She makes clothing for herself too, fine linen of the purple hue. At the city gates her husband is known, among the elders because of the wisdom he's shown. She makes linen garments and sells them new, and supplies belts for the tradesmen too. With strength and honor she is dressed, and she smiles at the future blessed. She opens her mouth and wisdom flows, the teaching of kindness her tongue knows. She cares for her household with a heart that's sweet. The bread of idleness she does not eat. Her children rise and call her blessed. Her husband gives her this address: many women have done well, but all of them you excel. Charm deceives and beauty is vain. A woman who fears the Lord, honor she will obtain. Give her the fruit of her hands. Let her works praise her in the gates of the land.